Tokyo, December 10th, 1968. Rain. 4 bank employees are driving a company car. On the back seat, 3 metal cases, a factory's entire winter bonus, 300 million yen. A police motorcycle waves them down. The officer says there is dynamite under the car. He is young. He is polite. And he is not a policeman. No one was ever charged. Make up your own mind. He will be gone in 3 minutes. Japan will hunt him with more officers, more posters, more suspects than any case in its history. Half a century on, people still ask his name. Not one arrest. So the question is simple. How do you steal 300 million yen without a weapon and never be found? This is the case file of the 300 million yen robbery. December 1968. In Japan, salaries were cash. Bonuses were cash. Twice a year, real envelopes of real banknotes moved through every company in the country. And December was the big one. The Toshiba factory in Fuchu employed thousands of workers, and the money on that back seat was their entire winter bonus. The papers would call it 300 million. The ledger entry reads 294 million, 307,500 yen. Routine money. Rehearsed, though not only, by the bank. 4 days earlier, according to the case records, the branch manager of that same bank had received a letter. Deliver money, it said, or your house will be blown apart. The police reportedly staked out the drop. Nobody came. The letter was filed away as a prank, and according to Japanese case literature, it may not have been the first. Months earlier, a farm cooperative nearby had reportedly received a threat, in the same hand. On the morning of December 10th, that filed-away prank came due. Whoever wrote it, the letter had rehearsed 4 men, in fear. 9:21 in the morning. The bank car turns onto a narrow street running behind the walls of Fuchu prison. Behind them, a white motorcycle, white helmet, police rain cape. The rider pulls them over, walks up calmly, and delivers the news. Your branch manager's house has just been blown up, and there is a tip. Dynamite planted under this car. The 4 men know about the letter. The rider crawls under the car to check. Smoke begins to pour out from under the chassis, and he scrambles back shouting that it is about to explode. Witnesses would later call the device a road flare. 4 men run for the prison wall. And here is the strange part. None of them try to stop what happens next, because everything the man does looks exactly like help. Write it into the ledger. It was never the motorcycle that stopped the car. It was the uniform. He slides into the driver's seat, says the car has to be moved, and drives it away through the rain. At ordinary speed, the records say. Like a man on his way to work. The whole robbery took about 3 minutes. 4 men had watched his face from a meter away. It should have been enough. He left the motorcycle behind. Detectives found it within hours. An ordinary second-hand bike, hand-painted white to look like a police machine. He left the smoke device. He left a cap. Over the months that followed, the police catalog of physical evidence grew to 124 items, and the manhunt grew with it. 171,000 officers, counted shift by shift. A suspect file that eventually held 110,000 names. Posters in every station, every police box, every bathhouse in the country. And one by one, the 124 clues told the detectives the same thing. The paint was sold in hundreds of shops. The cap, everywhere. The flare was standard issue for any driver. He had assembled himself out of things anyone could buy, and left behind only objects that pointed at everyone. Every clue pointed at everyone. Then they built the 125th with their own hands. Then there is the face. Within weeks, the police released a montage photograph of the rider. It became, for a time, the most reproduced face in Japan. But the file turns uncomfortable here. The man on the poster was already dead before the first copies went up. The four men's descriptions, later reporting says, would not agree. So the composite was reportedly modeled heavily on a photograph of a real young man, 19 years old, a police officer's son, someone local rumor had already named. He had died 5 days after the robbery. The records say the police investigated and cleared him. The handwriting did not match. His movements did not fit. Cleared. Dead. And yet his borrowed features went on staring from every wall in Japan. In 1974, 6 years in, the police did something almost unheard of. They officially withdrew the montage. And here is the detail that should not exist. The most famous face in the country may have belonged to no one at all. For 6 years, Japan hunted a ghost because no one was killed or even scratched. The crime was legally a robbery. And robbery, under the law of the time, had a statute of limitations, 7 years. From the moment he drove away, a clock was running, and the police knew it. Before it was over, the hunt would cost more than 3 times what the man had taken. Over 970 million yen, chasing 294. By year 5, the theories had hardened. In a country that would fill whole shelves of books with this case, almost none of them translated. The English internet knows 1 page. From that shelf, 2 shapes. 1 man. He wrote the letter and came to collect it. Someone who knew the route, the schedule, the drill, and exactly what his own words had done to 4 nervous men. Or 2 strangers, because the letter writer reportedly had threatened before and never once collected. And that version only works if the writer knew the letter existed. That week, researchers note, the threat was no secret inside the branch. Year 7. Then the clock ran out. December 10th, 1975. The statute of limitations expired. The special investigation stood down, and the file closed while the case stayed open. And here, the file flips over. Read the 3 minutes again. No gun, no blow, not 1 scratch. Under the law of the day, that gentleness was worth exactly 7 years. Some researchers argue it was never mercy. Keep everyone standing, and the clock stays short. Kindness as engineering. Civil liability lasted until December 10th, 1988, 13 years later to the day. After that, a signed confession would be worth nothing in court. He had simply outlasted the law. Here is the part that makes this case unlike any other in the ledger. Nobody died. Nobody was hurt. The workers reportedly got their bonuses on time. The bank's ledger balanced within weeks. Insurance saw to that. And Japan quietly moved its payrolls from envelopes to bank transfers. The routine that made the robbery possible simply disappeared. The only casualties were reputations. A police force that mobilized a nation and caught no one. And 1 family who could not pass a station wall without meeting their dead son's borrowed face. If the writer was 25 that morning, he is in his 80s now. In 2018, an anonymous novel appeared on a Japanese writing site. I was the writer, it said. It went viral. The police did not move. There was nothing left to move on. Someone grew old with this secret, so the ledger stays open forever. No court can close it now. Theory A. 1 man. He wrote the letter and he came to collect it. Knowledge of the route, the schedule, and 4 nervous men that you cannot buy in a shop. Theory B. 2 strangers. A writer who threatened and never came. A writer who read the stage someone else had built and walked onto it. Which do you find harder to dismiss? Cast your verdict in the comments. Next case. London, 1838. Something was jumping rooftops in the winter dark. When it knocked on a door, it said it was the police.